Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have a really interesting draw preview and prediction video to get into for Cincinnati, the last tournament, the last major tournament before the US Open. And as has been the pattern for quite a few years, including last year, the winner of Cincinnati tends to have a very good chance of the US Open or even goes on to win the tournament. Last year, of course, on the men's, Yannick Sinner went on after winning Cincinnati to win the US Open, and also on the women's, Sabalenka did the same. So this is a really, really important tournament in preparation for the US Open. Historically speaking, the courts play medium fast to fast. So the courts play quite similarly to the US Open. They're using the same balls. So this is, if you're a player who hasn't had great form for this swing, this tournament is now even more important. And I think the players that really shine here will be looking to kick on at the US Open and really prove their worth. Before we do get into it, though, remember that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Shout out to our members as well. So, as I mentioned, the defending champion is Yannick Sinner. We're going to very briefly talk about the projected quarterfinals. Then we'll go through every single match in the draw and work our way through the draw, and I will give you guys my ultimate winner. So, due to weather constraints, unfortunately, the Cincinnati qualifying has not concluded yet. However, because of the backlog, it's just meant that we're not going to be able to include the qualifiers in this draw because by the time qualifying finishes, the main draw will almost certainly happen straight after, which will leave no time to do this preview. So, just bear in mind that there won't be qualifiers in this draw, so we're going to have to unfortunately assume that they will lose. That's not to say they will lose, but unfortunately, that's just the way that it is with some of these tournaments that are not Grand Slams, the qualifying and then first round matches. There's such a tight gap in between them, and sometimes there's barely any gap as it is. So, in terms of projected quarterfinals, Sinner Musetti is the first one, an all Italian matchup. Fritz Rune is the second one. Shelton Zverev and Dimona Alcaraz. So, interestingly, we're going to get potentially a Shelton Zverev final in Canada. They're both playing semis this evening, actually, if you're in America. So that'll be an interesting one. And then Dimona plays Alcaraz in the last projected quarterfinal, which would be an interesting one. I think Alcaraz would obviously be the favorite there. So let's work our way through the draw. So Yannick Sinner has a bye. Kopriva has a qualifier, so he'll get through there. Sebastian Baez to beat Goffin for me. Diallo and Mahach both have buys. Jordan Thompson to be a qualifier. I think Nico Jarry has a wild card, which is interesting, actually. It's interesting he's got a wild card. He plays Pedro Martinez. I'll go with Nico Jarry on these fast courts. Paul and Rude both have buys. Rindanesh to beat Borges. Borges is a pretty solid player, though. He's had some decent results. I'll go Rindanesh, though. Echeverry and Shang. Shang's just come out from injury. We've got Echeverry. Felix and Stefanos Tsitsipas both have buys. Look at that ranking for Steph. He's actually ranked now below Felix Auger-Aliassime, which is crazy to even think about. He's ranked 25 in the world right now. Fabian Marozsan has a qualifier, so we'll go for him. Arnaldi to beat Bonzi for me. Musetti, Fritz both have buys. Chorich to beat O'Connell. Yeah. Fernley to beat Bergs. Sonego and Fokina both have buys. Fonseca has a relatively tricky opponent in Yun Choketi Bu. We'll go with Fonseca. Nishioka plays a qualifier. We'll go for him. Kaboli and TFO both have buys. Carbes, Bayana, and Hugo Gaston. It's a tough one. Hugo Gaston. Pericard has a qualifier. Umber has a buy. And yeah, Pericard has a qualifier, so we'll go for Pericard there. Umber has a buy. Mikkelsen buy. Mute and McDonald will go for Mute. He's been some decent form. Safulan to be Tabio. This is in clay. Runa and Shelton buys. Nishikori Ugo Carabelli. Nishikori. RBA to beat Outmire. Nori and Lehechka with that buys. Tristan Boyer wildcard. Brandon Holt. Wildcard go for Brandon Holt. Adam Walton to be a qualifier. Medvedev and Hatchnell both have buys. Offner to be a qualifier. Brooksby wild card to play Alexander Muller. Will go Brooksby. Feast and Nakashima both have buys. Jaron to be a qualifier. Bassiferetti plays Gael Monfils. We'll Gael Monfils. Zverev and Dimona both have buys. Ugo Delian Apelka. Komisana and Munar will go Komisana. Darderi and Popper both have buys. Leonard Tien to be a qualifier. Rublev and Mensik both have buys. Ethan Quinn, Kekmanovic. Kekmanovic. Shapovalov and Greece will both have buys. Medevic and Kovacevic. Tough one's cool, actually. Good Medevic. Belushi to beat Juma and Alcaraz has a buy. Senna to beat Kropriva. Diallo to beat Baez. Mahach to beat Thompson. Was that right? Yeah. Jarry and Pool. Rude Rindanesh. That's potential banana skin for Casper. We'll go Casper. Felix Auger-Aliassime and Echeverry. Felix. Marijan to beat Tsitsipas. I've got very little faith in Tsitsipas at the moment. Musetti and Nardi. Musetti's not been in great form, I have to say, since coming back from injury. I'll go on Nardi. Fritz beat Chorich. It's a tough one, though. Chorich, when he's on his game, it's a tough customer. Sonego Fernley. Go Fernley. Fakina Fonseca. I'm going to go Fakina to get the win there. Koboli to beat Nishioka. TFO to beat Gaston. TFO, of course, made the final here last year of Cincinnati. Lost to Yannick Sinner. Pericard to beat Amber. Mikkelsen to beat Mute. Runa to beat Safiolin. Shelton to beat Nishikori. Nori to beat RBA. Yeah. Lehechka to beat Holt. Medvedev to beat Walton. Hatchnell to beat Offner. Feast to beat Brooksby. Nakashima, Joron, Nakashima. Zverev to beat Monfils. Demona to beat Apelka. Darderi to beat Komisana. Poprin to be a qualifier. Rublev to beat Tien. It's a tough one, though. Tien's got a very good record against top 10 guys, and Rublev is just inside the top 10. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Leonard Tien. Mansik to beat Kekmanovic, Shapovalov to be a qualifier. Greek Sport, Medevic, Greek Sport, Alcaraz to beat Belushi. Okay, Sinner to beat Diallo. Mahach and Tommy Paul. Also, by the way, great to have Sinner and obviously Alcaraz back. They weren't playing and are not playing in Canada, so they will be fresh for Cincinnati, but obviously great to have them back. Djokovic is the big omission. He is skipping Cincinnati, which was a bit of a shock. Mahach Paul will go Paul. Rude, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Two players who have some similarities. I'm going to go with Casper Ruud. Arnaldi and Marijan. Got Arnaldi. Fritz to beat Fernley. Koboli to beat Fokina. TFO to beat Pericard. Runa to beat Mikkelsen. Shelton to beat Nori. I'm going to go with Lehechka to beat Medvedev. There's a fast hard court, though, that does suit Medi. Is this the tournament where he starts to find his form? Yeah, I'll go Medvedev for now. Hatchnov Feast. Hatchnov has been playing some really good tennis. Underrated player. He's playing Zverev in the semi-finals of Canada. Feast, though, he's an exciting player. Question is, can he get through the consistency that Hatchnov brings to the table? I'm going to say yes. That's a big call because I think Hatchnov is the favourite on paper for this specific matchup on this specific surface and tournament. Zverev Nakashima will go with Zverev. And then Dimona and Darderi. Dimona, Poprin and Tien. We'll go Poprin. No, actually, we'll go Leonard Tien. Menshik and Shapovalov will go Menshik. Alcaraz to beat Greek Sport. Okay, round 4. Sinner and Paul Sinner. Casper Ruud Arnaldi will go with Ruud. Fritz Cavodio will go Fritz. Tiafoe Runa will go Runa. Shelton Medvedev will go Shelton. Feast Zverev will go Feast. Although I think Zverev on a hard court should be the favorite. I just have a feeling Feast and his style really does cause issues for Zverev. Dimona, Timo with Dimona, Alcaraz to beat Menchik. Leaves us with Sinner and Casper Ruud. Sinner for me. Fritz Runa. Runa made the semi-finals of this tournament last year. And yeah, I mean, been playing some pretty good tennis in Cincinnati. Head-to-head for this one, though, with Runa and Fritz is 2-1 in favor of Fritz, and they played all 3 times on outdoor hard. Shanghai last year, Indian Wells last year. Runa won in Indian Wells. Shanghai, Fritz won. Shanghai's a quicker surface than Indian Wells. So that would tell me that Fritz most likely will get the win. Shelton Feast is a tough one to call. I think it's going to be tough for Feast on this surface. We'll go Shelton. And then Alcaraz to beat Dimona. So I've got a Sinner, Fritz, and Shelton Alcaraz semi-finals. Fritz and Shelton are actually playing in a semi-final in Canada, so that might be a bit of a big call. We'll go Sinner to beat Fritz and Alcaraz to beat Shelton. Don't see either player. I mean, Shelton, to be fair, has got a much better chance of beating Alcaraz than Fritz does of beating Sinner, in my opinion, on the fast hard court. I actually think on a fast hard court, Shelton could cause some real big issues for Alcaraz, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if he beat Alcaraz. But I'm going with a Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz final, and I'm going with Yannick Sinner to get the win and put himself in pole position for the US Open. I think that'll be a fantastic match to watch. But I do think on hard court, despite obviously the run of X amount of matches in the past before Wimbledon where Alcaraz was dominating, he'd won 5 in a row. I still feel that generally that Sinner is a better hardcore player, given obviously the results. And I now think after that Wimbledon win, he'll take even more confidence. And I always felt more comfortable as a neutral saying that I think Sinner could beat Alcaraz on hardcore, but I didn't necessarily feel the same talking about it when it came to clay or grass because of how good Alcaraz is on the elemental surfaces. So I'm going to pick Sinner to get the win. Bit of a boring final and pick from me. Apologies, but I'm finding it tough to pick against these guys right now. So it's Sinner to get the win for me. Let me know in the comment section below what you think and why, and who you think is going to win. Do you think Sinner will defend his title like myself, or do you think someone else will win? Let me know. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. See you on the next video.